Hi, I'm Barbara McRae, and welcome to Littleton Common. Hey, we're almost there, folks. Find those garden shovels and those rakes, because I've seen the daffodils and crocuses. It has been a long winter, but so what? It's New England. Open the windows and smell the spring air. Get out your jogging shoes, or if you can't jog, just take a walk. This month, you might have read the letter from Howard Russell that is in the Senior Broadcaster. Howard is moving to New Hampshire, so he will be leaving the Council on Aging Board soon. Howard has been with the Council for at least 20 years, keeping the board members on their toes and helping to plan the future of the Council on Aging. We send Howard our good wishes and hope he will enjoy his new home and playing with his horses. If you have any news you'd like published in our Senior Broadcaster, please send it to this email address or call our Council on Aging office at 952-2362. The newsletter lists programs, trips, and if you're interested, what's for lunch at our senior diner. So make sure you get one. And you can call that phone number, 952-2362, and ask for one. And speaking of the senior diner, here's Gail to tell you what's happening there.
Hi, this is Gail Dahl from the Littleton Senior Diner, and as you can see, today is April 1st, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's our Stretch and Flex class, and this is the class that is behind me right now, and it's from 11:15 to 12:15 every Tuesday and Thursday. Also for this month, on April 10th, we're having our women's breakfast at, I believe, 8 o'clock in the morning. And also this month, as for most of you who don't know, it's the Littleton Light and Water Department's annual Spring Fling, which is April 23rd. And you have to come here or go to the COA office to pick up your tickets. So if you can get those before the 23rd, that'd be great, because I'll have to give the Light Department a head count. Also, the Concord Healthcare, who was going to provide a free lunch this month on the 22nd, has canceled, so that will be next month. So we're open here Monday through Friday from 9 to 1. For $2, you can have a nice lunch and come down and chit-chat. So hope to see you guys come down.
Thank you, Gail. You can also have your blood pressure taken at the Senior Diner on April 8th from 11 to 12 noon. Don't forget to celebrate your birthday at our diner. That's going to be on April 9th. You can call Gail for that too, and her number is 952-2757. Let her know you're coming in for a piece of cake. Don't be alone. Join the party or have your own. The ladies' breakfast this month is on April 10th. The time, as usual, is 8 o'clock in the morning. See that? You have April 9th, the birthday party, and April 10th, the ladies' breakfast. And you think there's nothing to do. We look so forward to seeing you there, and hopefully, with the good weather, we'll see many more of you. The men needn't stay home either, because on April 16th at 7:30 in the morning, it's the men's breakfast. And do you know what? We had 22 guys there in March. And what a treat for our chefs. They were scrambling eggs as fast as they could and enjoying every minute. You know, it's so worth it to have these breakfasts for the men and the women, especially if there is a big crowd to appreciate all that work. The meal is always pancakes, fried potatoes, that's new by the way, fruit cocktail, sausages, bacon, eggs, toast. And with all that to eat, you can skip lunch. Or maybe you just want to sit there until lunch is served. And at $2, what's stopping you? Make your day. Join us for the ladies' or men's breakfasts. We'll be looking for you. Don't forget, with all the exercise classes, we will be adding yoga. And yoga classes will be in April. I believe it's April 6th. Our instructor was last month's guest on the show, Erin Jade, and she's such a cute young lady, so come in and try this relaxing exercise, and at the same time, make her welcome. The Book of the Month Club member Carolyn Harlow is here to interest you in the latest book, and that is whatever's happening there.
Welcome to the Book Club of the Month. My name is Carolyn Harlow, and we meet on the second Wednesday of every month at 10 o'clock in the library. The library has a charming little room off the mystery section, and right now there are about 4 or 5 of us that belong to the book club. We do encourage you that if you like to read, like to talk about what you read, please come and join us on the second Wednesday of every month at 10 o'clock in the library. You go in the front door, go up to the desk, take a left, and they'll tell you where to go anyway if you don't know how to go. And we love to have new people come and join us. Last month we read Falling Leaves by Adeline Yen Ma. And we're not a very organized group, so what we've tried to do is try to have one book of the month. And so this is a wonderful book. If you have read it, then you'll know what I'm talking about. It's about a Chinese girl that grows up in a wealthy family, and she is treated abominably by her family, but she is very bright, and she survives, and it's a wonderful story of survival of a child. This month we are going to read The Year of the Fog, and that is a novel by Michelle Richmond. And this is a story about a child. It says, what would you do if the child you were watching vanished? And it has gotten raves by the book club. It came out in 2007, and it's a mesmerizing novel of loss and grief, hope and redemption, and the endurance of love. And so this is the book that we're going to read this month. And I usually get about 4 to 6 books from Andy the librarian, and then we take them home with us and read them. So please do come and join us this month, second Wednesday, 10 to 2 at the 10 to 12 at the library. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next month.
Thanks, Carolyn. Our computer classes are really filling up. Per Yerpe, the instructor, is really such a nice guy and very patient, so don't feel intimidated by the computer. Per will put you at ease, and you'll be on eBay before you know it, or not. Have you heard about eBay? Have you been on eBay? You can buy and sell on this, and everyone tries it. Everyone I talk to at least has used it once. If you're looking for a very special item, once you've taken these classes, you can check it out. But best of all, learn how to email and then send notes to your children, your grandchildren, or your friends, and those you haven't seen in a long time. Emailing is great, and it's really fun to get it in return. So call 952-2362 and learn how to use the computer. The Senior Citizens Club meeting really should be fun this month. The date is April 14th, and it's at 1:30 at the Senior Diner. I plan to be there, and you know why? Guess what? They are planning a fashion show with clothing from my favorite place, the thrift shop. If you haven't been into the thrift shop, this will give you a peek at some of the wonderful things we sell there. And members of the Senior Club will be modeling. I know you'll enjoy it. They will serve refreshments, and that little party will be great. So call Mary Gosby at 486-0573 for more information. And why don't you join Tina Mader for a Living Alone support meeting? That'll be on April 17th at 10:30 in the morning. If you haven't heard about it, then call Tina at 486-0183 and ask. Tina introduces some very good speakers, so come on down. The Council on Aging Board is changing now, especially since Howard Russell is moving. The new chairman will be looking to do new things. Of course, I think every new chairman has ideas they want to try, and this one is no different. Come sit in on a meeting sometime and meet George Sanders, our new chairman. He will want you to bring ideas and join in. We are always looking for interested parties. Meanwhile, the Friends of the Council on Aging, of course, our fundraiser, is also trying to plan things to keep you busy and make your day. It is so fulfilling when we see many of you come and join us for the activities we think you'd like. You know, volunteering is such an enriching experience, especially when you see your ideas and your efforts appreciated. All of us on the Council on Aging and the Friends boards are volunteers, people like you who want things for our senior citizen friends or parents. That's how I started. When my mother moved in with us, I wanted her to enjoy the time here. Actually, I wanted her to meet people so she wouldn't be lonely. In doing that, I became involved and loved doing what I do. I think she made some special friends and enjoyed her stay with us. Think about someone other than yourself when you wonder what is so special about volunteering or using the senior facilities. Make your life and someone else's a great place to be. Call us when you have time, or call us now at 952-2362. Here's a start for you. We need a Meals on Wheels driver. It takes 3 hours a month. A month. That's not much, especially when you're bringing meals to the homebound. So call Carolyn Sloboda for more information, and that's again at 952-2362. And I always ask you if you would please write down that number, because that's the number to call for things that are happening at the Council on Aging or for any information at all. So jot it down. And speaking of volunteering, it's not all work and no play. If you are a volunteer for the Council on Aging, then you and a guest are cordially invited to the annual Volunteer Recognition Luncheon on Tuesday, May 13th at noon. This is going to be sponsored by the Littleton Council on Aging and the Friends of the Council. See, the friends are your friends. Please call, again, 952-2362 by May 2nd so we can save you a seat. It's free, and the food is catered by Shirley Catering. Our decorations are going to be darling, I just know it, because Vicki Axman, our new board member, has it all planned. Come and be surprised. Right now, I'd like you to join Evan Thea at Indian Hill so she can tell you what is happening there this month.
Hello, this is Evan Thea over at Indian Hill Music, and we'd love to see you here in April, attending some of our wonderful musical events. Lots going on. Saturday, April 5th at 8 p.m., if you love jazz, we've got the Mill City Trio, and they're having a CD release party for the celebration of their new CD, Down Deep. So that's Saturday, April 5th at 8 p.m. here at Indian Hill. Tickets are $15. For information, give us a call at 486-9524 or visit us online at www.indianhillmusic.org. On Sunday, April 6th at 2 p.m., we have a free gallery talk and performance. We have exhibits here in our gallery at Indian Hill, and Reese Inman of Boston will be talking about her new abstract paintings, along with a performance by pianist Michelle Kelly from our faculty. Michelle will be performing pieces that inspired the artist's paintings. So that will be very interesting if you enjoy art and music. So that's Sunday, April 6th at 2 p.m., a free event. On Friday, April 11 at 7 p.m., we have our 4th annual Battle of the Bands. And this is where local bands, teens ages 18 and under, come and perform and compete for prizes. So if you're into rock and different kinds of music, with our local bands, this is the place to be. And that's Friday, April 11 at 7 p.m. On Saturday, April 12, very special, at 7:30, the Orchestra of Indian Hill will perform its season finale. And this is over at Littleton High School, April 12 at 7:30 p.m. And we've got, as our guest soloist, Anushka Shankar, who is the daughter of the legendary Indian sitar master Ravi Shankar. And she will perform her father's concerto for sitar and orchestra, along with a couple of classical favorites, music of Verdi and Rimsky-Korsakov's Scheherazade. So you won't want to miss that, April 12th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are now on sale, and call us 486-9524 or go online at indianhillmusic.org for all the details. A couple of free events following that. On Sunday, April 13 at 3 p.m. here at Indian Hill, we have the international piano duo of Cardinale Magnasco, violin and piano, coming to perform some wonderful classical pieces. And on Thursday, April 17 at noon, we have our monthly box lunch concert, which is a favorite of a lot of you. So Thursday, April 17 at noon, don't miss percussionist Abe Finch from our faculty. He'll be here with his friends, and they're going to do a real lively lunchtime concert for you. And as always, we serve coffee and tea and cookies. Bring your lunch. It's free concert. Lots more going on. Please check our calendar online at indianhillmusic.org. And just one more thing, on April 26th at 8 p.m. over at the Kaleidoscope Gallery in Groton, we've got the renowned chamber performers Victor Rosenbaum on piano with Dan Wen Jiang on violin, and they'll be playing works by Schubert, Brahms, and Dvorak. A beautiful concert on April 26th, 8 p.m. at the Kaleidoscope Gallery in Groton. And again, call us 486-9524 for details. And beginning of May, May 2 and 3, we start our annual Performathon, which raises money for scholarships for Indian Hill Music School. And on those 2 days, our students and faculty will be performing a number of free concerts for you. So look online or give us a call for information about the Performathon. And hope to see you here at Indian Hill in April.
April 22nd is also the trip to Foxwoods Casino, and that will cost $26 per person. You're leaving Shattuck Street at 7:30 in the morning. It's going to be a busy day at Shattuck Street because the Explorers Club has a trip that day too. The Explorers are often running this time to the Cordova Museum in Lincoln, and that will be April 22nd. It's a photographic exhibit, Perspectives of Children. If you're interested in this trip, please call Barbara Cam at 486-4360 to sign up. And the cost is $6 per person for the museum and $5 for the van ride. It's leaving Shattuck Street at 10 o'clock in the morning, so take your pick, Foxwoods or De Cordova. A very big social event this month, and I mean big. It's the annual Spring Fling, the Light and Water Department Luncheon. It is open to all seniors in Littleton and Boxborough. It's held at the Russell Street School, and that's April 23rd at noon. It is free, but you need a ticket. So come into the Council on Aging office and ask for 1, 2, or however many that you need, but do it soon. Now take your vitamins, because this is a really busy week, because the very next day, and I know some of you like to attend this conference, it's the 28th Annual Senior Conference, and it's hosted by State Senator Pam Reeser. It will be held at the Assabet Valley Regional High School in Marlborough. The date is April 23rd, and it's at 9 o'clock in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. There are workshops, entertainment, exhibits, and prizes, lunch, and free samples. I really have to talk to someone who's been, there and seen it, and I have to hear all about it, because if you want information, though, please call Carolyn Sloboda at 952-2362, because she'll be very happy to help you. Tony, the tax man, is still here until April 10th to help you with your taxes. He will extend if needed, but you have to call and make an appointment. So he will help you complete and electronically file your 2007 federal and Massachusetts income tax returns. Call the office at 952-2362 to set up an appointment. And again, this program is free also. George Sanders is here every Saturday to make sure, and I mean make sure, he is out there trying to get you to come in and make out your tax economic stimulus rebate papers. Seniors who have at least $3,000 of Social Security income and who normally do not file a federal return will qualify for a rebate of $300 per person, but only if they file a 2007 tax return. So come in, talk to George, and talk to him in depth about this rebate, because I think you will qualify. Or if you think you qualify, come in anyway. We all could use a little extra money, remember, so call 952-2362 for information and the dates. Now we've cleaned out the thrift shop of winter clothes and we've reopened with a whole new selection of spring and summer clothing. Don't wait to come in though and check out the merchandise we have. In fact, I am wearing an outfit from there this very minute, the sweater and the scarf. So come in and see what we have. You'll be back, I guarantee it. So now the big news. This is very exciting and I'm very happy to announce this. Thank you to Bob Stetson for finding a Wii game for our senior center. We tried and we tried, and if you ever wanted a Wii, you know how hard it is to get one. I mean, you have to just beat them to get one. They're so strict about keeping them back or getting a few in, but Bob did it, and we are ready to show you the ropes. Some of us have been playing this game with the seniors at Littleton High, but we've had such fun, and we wanted to share with you. On April 9th, remember that date, April 9th, we're going to demonstrate how to use it and hopefully set up some bowling leagues, tennis games, and golf games. And that'll be in the multi-purpose room at Shattuck Street, and right near the diner. Believe me, when you start this, you won't want to stop. It will definitely keep you on your toes, but it won't hurt your feet. So join us on April 9th at 1 o'clock in the multi-purpose room. But even if you're just curious, I'll be looking for you and you and you. I hope you'll stay tuned for my interview with Cindy Sheridan. She's a very special lady with a very special story. Do you believe in miracles? Well, I do now. Cindy Sheridan is our miracle, and she's here to tell us her story, and what a story it is. This young mother of 4 is a nurse. She's fit, a healthy weight, has no family history of heart disease, has normal cholesterol and blood pressure, not a candidate for heart disease or what happened next. How about 2 heart attacks and a cardiac arrest within 4 months? Cindy had a coronary artery dissection, which is a tear in her artery. Cindy, thanks for coming today.
Thank you.
Thank God you could, as a matter of fact. And, you know, I think I want you to tell people what happened. I mean, here you were. Cindy is a gardener. She's, you know, in the garden club with me, and she's a young woman. But something happened that I think everyone needs to know at any age. Isn't this true?
It is true. I think that you probably don't want me to talk about all the risk factors. Everybody sort of knows all the risk factors at this point. I think there's so many programs on lately, especially February being Heart Health Awareness Month.
Right.
There's been a lot of programs educating people about all the cardiac risk factors. But I think the reason for me being here is the fact that I am young and I don't have any risk factors. I want to make a point that everybody who has a heart is at risk for heart disease.
Yeah,
it's
and it seems like we're hearing more about it for women now, huh? Because we thought, I don't know, I just thought, oh well, you know, not going to happen. And then all of a sudden, here I hear this happened to you.
Typically, women have different symptoms than men do, and we sort of, you know, think, oh, it's just heartburn or indigestion, or, you know, you blame it on something else all the time. And and I think
So tell us exactly what happened the very first time that you knew something was wrong.
Well, for about a week, and this is in retrospect, I probably did have some symptoms that I didn't even think were cardiac in nature. I thought, well, maybe I'm gaining a couple of pounds because I feel a little heartburn, and I've never had that before, but maybe if I lose a couple of pounds, or whatever. And I would feel this heartburn, and it would go up my esophagus. That's how it's sort of epigastric pain that went up my esophagus, and it would last a while and then go away. And one day at work, I had a severe pain or burning sensation, and somebody had brought in donuts that night, and I thought, oh, this is indigestion from donuts, because I never eat donuts. And just by coincidence, somebody gave me some antacid, and I took it and it went away. So I thought, oh, maybe that's what it is. I should really take care of that. And then a week later, this same sensation happened while I was shopping at Market Basket, and I thought it was indigestion, and it actually got worse during the day. It would come and go, and then that evening, I felt nauseous and I vomited. Said, I'm going to make an appointment the next morning to see my primary care physician because I have an ulcer or something. And so that night I ended up having to sleep up on pillows because I was just uncomfortable, and I fell asleep. And before morning I actually got up about 4 o'clock in the morning with that feeling, and it was just really a burning sensation. And I ended up waking up my husband, and I said, I think we need to go into the hospital. And the reason I went to the hospital the first time is not because of that pain, but when I woke up, my arms felt very, very heavy. I felt like there were 20-pound weights on them. And I think because I'm a nurse, I know that that's not gastric related, so I just said, I need to have that checked out.
So this is a good thing that we hear this too.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't have chest pain. I felt this unbelievable heavy sensation in my arm. So when I went to the hospital, they checked my cardiac enzymes and my EKG, and they came back positive for the cardiac enzymes that say you've had a heart attack. So I was admitted immediately to the intensive care unit. They did a cardiac catheterization and found I had a 90% blockage. And
after all the things I just said, you had nothing that would make you even think this.
Not one cardiac risk factor. My cholesterol is 95. My total cholesterol and my HDH and LDL is they're all fine. And I don't have diabetes. I don't smoke. I don't use birth control. I don't drink heavily. Just casual, and no family history. All those things. So I actually had to be transferred to Leahy Clinic, and I went the next day. They treated me overnight with cardiac medications, which kept my blood pressure down. And by the time I got to Leahy Clinic and they did another cardiac catheterization, my artery had opened up again. There was complete blood flow to my heart, and they said, and they could see they have this new instrument, an ultrasound device that they can now see the inside of your coronary arteries, like an ultrasound for any other part of your body. So they said I had not one bit of plaque.
Oh my gosh.
I know, but there was a tear in my artery, so that's what caused the bleeding in the wall of the artery, which blocked off the lumen of the blood vessel and caused the lack of blood flow to my heart. So I had a heart attack.
So they didn't do anything that day, though?
No, they said because the artery had opened up on its own, I had complete blood flow, that it was risky to put in a stent, which was the plan. They were going to put a stent if it was a normal blockage, but because the tear looked like it had already started to heal, they thought it was safer to not put the stent in and treat me with cardiac medications too.
I have to ask you, now it's possible then, if you have a tear, that it could heal?
Right. Well, the fact is, what I had is called a coronary artery dissection. It's a tear in the artery. It's different. Probably like 1 out of every 100,000 people have this happen to them that make it to the hospital. I'm sure there's more than that, but they diagnose it most of the time on autopsy. So I was very lucky to have this found. they were afraid that if they put the cardiac stent in, it would cause the artery to tear even more where it was already fragile. So that's part of the reason. And I actually did very well for 4 months after that. I went through cardiac rehab, and I got strong again, and I was actually doing up to 8 miles a day on all the bikes and the treadmills and everything at the gym. So I was feeling good.
Oh my gosh. So then some time went by,
Yeah,
and all of a sudden,
I actually was visiting with my mom and dad. They came over, and we were having coffee and tea, and I had said to my mother, it was actually exactly 4 months after my first heart attack, which was, the first one was September 29th. This was January 29th of 2008. And I said, Mom, I feel great. I don't feel like I've ever had a heart attack. I feel so fit. I feel healthier than I did before. And even before they left that visit, I said, oh, I have a funny feeling in my stomach. It was different than the first time, but I just had a funny feeling in my stomach. So my mom said, well, you go lay down, we'll go home. And that was about 8:30 in the evening, and 3 times that evening I started feeling this spasm, sort of. I don't know if you've ever had a Charlie horse or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
How it starts off pretty mild and it gets stronger and then it goes away. It's like a spasm. But I could feel that I thought it was in my esophagus, but it ended up being really a coronary artery spasm. And that happened 3 times in the evening, but I was just, it sort of made me anxious, a feeling of apprehension that they say you have when you're having something like that happen.
Sure.
And I was
if you know your body and you've been taking care of it, so something's wrong.
Right. So I made a deal with my husband. I said, because I was kind of nervous about that, but I didn't want to go to the hospital again. I just said, you know what, if this happens one more time, we're going to go to have it checked out again. And sure enough, at about 2 a.m., it woke me up from the sound sleep, that spasm, and it sort of takes your breath away. And it just feels like your blood pressure is really high. And I guess another symptom that I felt that they don't always tell you about, and it happens with women, is a tired feeling in my jaw, like I had chewed gum for a long, long time. I just felt like my jaw could just drop open. It was so tired. So my main feelings were fatigue in my arms and my jaw, and that epigastric burning.
But could you have lots of other, it doesn't mean everyone would have the same reaction. Right.
A lot of people have different, they might have pain in their shoulders and their back, or crushing chest pain, or there's so many different ways people feel it.
So in other words, you could have just a real sharp pain and not heavy arms?
Right. You could have crushing pain. You could have, some people say they feel like an elephant sitting on their chest, or stabbing pain, or pain in the left arm, pain in the right arm even. It's just anything that is out of the ordinary. That's a really important thing.
So you had it, and then you went to the hospital?
So we had this deal that I was going to go to the hospital if I felt this sensation that I've never felt before. And so we just got in the car. I could have called the ambulance, which is probably what everybody should do. But after that sensation goes away, I felt fine. I didn't feel any weakness. So I said, I think I'm okay to make it to the hospital. And I actually was okay this time, but I really don't suggest that. The first time, I wish I took an ambulance, because by the time we were a mile away, I thought I wasn't going to make it to the hospital. Oh. So, but the second time, I still didn't call an ambulance. So but I would a third time. But that's not going to happen.
We're not going to have a third time.
No,
please,
we're not going to have
don't.
a third time.
So. So you did get there. You got to the hospital.
Got there. Lowell General Hospital is the place to go. They have every kind of equipment that you can get in Boston, at Leahy Clinic, whatever. They're really, really up to date on their cardiac care there. And
they're close.
And they're close. And Merrimack Valley Cardiology works out of there. I think there's like 11 doctors or whatever. They're all superb. And they do stents there. And that's another thing. I really think that if you need to check into, people have to be proactive, check into the hospitals around where you live and make sure that they are certified to put in cardiac catheters and stuff like that, because if not, you have to be shipped out to another hospital, and those minutes can make such a difference between life and death. And they made the difference for me
Yeah.
the second time, because I was admitted after going to the emergency room. They took me right away, did my EKG and my cardiac enzymes, which were negative, by the way, the first time. They don't always show positive lab values at first, but because of my history, they kept me there for observation. The second time they drew my blood work, they showed a little bit of elevation, so they decided to admit me to the intermediate care cardiac monitored floor. So I was on a cardiac monitor, spent the whole rest of the night there, and was bored out of my mind. I felt fine. I actually said, I feel really embarrassed to be here, because I went to the hospital without any symptoms happening at that time, and the entire 12 or so hours that I was there, I had not one single reoccurrence of that feeling. However, my blood work showed some changes. So the doctor came in the morning, Dr. Burkhead from Merrimack Valley, and he said, you know, I really want to do another cardiac catheterization because I see a little change in your EKG. And I said,
Good for him, though.
But I signed his consent. He said, we'll do it in about a half hour. I'm going to send in another nurse to sign another consent that it's a study that they're doing there too. So she came in the room, and I said, oh, I'll sign the consent. I felt fine. Let me sit on the bed. And as I sat on the bed, I said, oh my gosh, I'm feeling it. I said, hold on a minute, I'm feeling a whole bunch of palpitations. And I don't remember anything after that. I had cardiac arrested, went into a very serious dysrhythmia, and they had to do CPR and cardiovert me too. So I had to have the paddles, and
oh my.
And then I woke up to about 25 people all around me, and I didn't really realize what happened. So, and then they immediately took me down to the cardiac cath lab and put another cardiac cath in and put a stent in, big long stent to cover that whole tear, because the artery tore exactly the same place that it tore in the last time.
So
probably due to hormone fluctuations. In perimenopausal women have hormone fluctuations, and that can cause coronary artery spasms, which in my case caused it to tear, because they said I either had a defect in the artery that I was born with, or after that first tear occurred, maybe the scar tissue caused the artery to kink, and it couldn't withstand the pressure of the spasm.
So
I am so lucky.
You are so lucky, thank God. I'm so glad, you know, because I just, you know, it's funny, but not so funny, but that happened to you, and so all of a sudden you're aware. I mean, because I'm like 100 years older than you, so I was all of a sudden aware of what could happen, and I have never had high blood pressure, never in my strong heart, you know, and I'm very active and everything, and just like right after that happened to you, one day I was doing something and all of a sudden felt a palpitation, and it was very fast pulse, and so you know, I was a little bit worried about it, but I didn't think about it and everything. And then I was doing something else another evening, and I had made a mistake, and I was very upset, you know, like, oh my gosh, I made a mistake, oh my gosh, I have to fix it. And all of a sudden had quick heartbeat and felt funny and everything. So, and I said, I'm going to the doctor tomorrow because Cindy, you know I have to go to the doctor. And everything was fine. And then a week later, something else happened, and I went in thinking, well, my thyroid medication must be very high. And the doctor said, yes, he did this on purpose, but he said, you know, you probably don't have any stress, so I'm going to put you on high blood pressure pills because...
Who doesn't have stress?
Yeah, I know. And I did say that later, like, excuse me, but at this moment I do. And so anyway, now I'm on high blood pressure pills, and I'm angry because I had nothing wrong too.
I know.
You know, and it's like, what do you mean?
I know. You have this feeling of mortality all of a sudden.
And especially if you go along and everyone says you're going to be like your mother, you're going to be like your father, and they're okay.
Right,
you know?
right. My parents are both alive and well and healthy.
Yeah. So it's It's very strange, but I do keep, and I have the newspaper article because you were in the Lowell Sun back in February, and they had a wonderful picture of you there at the piano.
Yeah.
And
My stress relieving method.
yes, getting rid of your stress, and and also some wonderful things happened because of this. Because all of a sudden, you were asked to do a few more things. Like, didn't you throw out a hockey puck or a baseball?
I was sort of like the poster child for Heart Health Awareness Month at Lowell General Hospital. They asked me to drop the puck at the hockey game.
Good. And I know, too, that talking to you recently that you're very interested in letting women or anyone know that you have to be careful, and if you have funny feelings that you should take care of it.
Definitely, and nobody knows your body like you do. So if you go to a doctor's office and they try to make you feel like this is nothing, to take an antacid or take Pepsid or
have them double check.
Yeah, and if you don't like what they say, seek a second opinion too. I think we all need to educate ourselves more and more and more now. And these doctors have a lot of patients to take care of. There's no way they can know everything about you, but you know everything about you. And there's
yeah, I knew there was something.
Yep. And if you have a sensation that you've never had before, I mean, we've lived long enough to know when something is just not right.
Yeah. Exactly.
You have to go with that intuition. And I had this feeling of apprehension and fear, and there's also a sort of a sense of doom and gloom that you feel. And,
you're right.
And that is so true. I learned that in nursing school, and I never really, it doesn't sink in until you experience it yourself. And I'll tell you, the most healing thing for me when I was in the hospital, and I will never forget, it was Lisa Gavoni was the nurse who did CPR on me. And all I remember is her holding my hand.
Yeah. That's a special thing, because that's
the whole way to the cath lab.
See? Yeah, and that's good. And you did remember that. That's wonderful. And people should know that too. That's important, to touch somebody and be there for them, right?
So I took some EKG classes, and I am now working in a cardiac unit at Lawrence General Hospital too. So hopefully my experience will help these people.
Well, you just might find yourself though at Donlands now, and someone's going to walk up to you and say, "So I had this funny feeling the other day," and you'll be giving out this advice. But I think that's really important to check yourself, not to be overly
right.
We don't want everybody out there thinking they're having a heart attack too.
Exactly. But I'll tell you, you brought this in, and I have one myself.
Yep.
And this is a wrist blood pressure cuff. You can get them at CVS, and this is what made me go in the first time. Or the second time rather. This when I felt my blood pressure go up, I checked my blood pressure with this wrist blood pressure cuff. Anybody can do it themselves. You just put it around your wrist. There's instructions, and it just velcros around, and you have to have your arm at your heart level, and you just press the on-off button and start. This is yours. It's a little bit different than mine. It automatically pumps up, and sometimes you get a wacky reading, but you have to have your arm I usually sit at a table and put my arm on the table.
Right.
And it will give you a more accurate reading. If you move around or your arm isn't at heart level, you get a not so good reading. But my blood pressure, which is normally 80 to 90 over 60, say.
Oh my gosh.
I never had high blood pressure.
Oh my gosh.
Was up to 164 over 124. And that said to me, I'm going to the hospital.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, mine was like 169 over something horrible, 100, I guess, and my pulse was very fast. And, And
did you have this at the time?
No.
Would you have loved to have had it before you found out at the hospital?
Well, actually, another reason I felt I had to go, and this is kind of funny, again, I was doing the Wii games with the seniors at the high school, because the seniors citizens are doing it with the seniors, and they have to take your blood pressure first, and you know, your lung capacity and all the stuff. So I ran in, I was really happy and excited about doing this, you know.
Yeah.
I had had these other couple of instances before, but I went in there and they put the monitor on me, and I was like, doo-dee-doo-doo. And the young boy looked at it and he went, it's a little high. And then the teacher came in to look at it and he said, I think we ought to do that again.
Yep.
And it was like 169 over something. And I was saying, well, maybe I'm just excited, you know.
Yeah.
And I think he was a little worried about me. So I did go to the doctor the next day, and that's
Excellent.
when I got on the high blood pressure pills.
Wow, that's a good move.
So isn't that an interesting way to
saved-
find out, though?
Yeah.
I mean,
But you could have a stroke or a heart attack easily with a blood pressure that high.
yeah. And
So-
I don't intend to do something like that. I don't want to do something like that because I enjoy all the things I do, and I want to be able to do them for a very long
Well,
time.
you will now that you're on that medication.
Yeah, now I am, and I'll watch it, that's for sure.
But isn't this a good idea for a
Very good.
gift for your mother or father for Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthday, Christmas?
I know, but sometimes when you give something like that, they're probably going to say, you think I'm old and you think I'm silly. But it's not true. Now it's become, I actually was, you and I were talking, I think we ought to design them with maybe rhinestones or something.
There you
know. I
go.
mean, so
Keep it on your wrist at all times.
Yeah, we can have it. Oh, let me see. I just saw that handsome guy. Oops, there it goes.
But then your blood pressure's going to be really high.
So, at any rate.
I gave one to my parents a few years ago, and I think they really enjoy having it. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's there. Actually, I have to tell you, I gave one to my daughter.
Oh, good.
Yes, because she has a little bit of high blood
Yeah.
pressure too, so I gave one to her.
Excellent.
And told her to make sure she checks because she has young children, and I want her to make sure she is okay for a long time.
It seems like people are having heart problems at younger and younger ages too, and I guess it has been discussed. I've heard programs talking about the fact that people who come from families with cardiac risk factors and cardiac problems, a lot of times their children have heart attacks a decade earlier than they did. So
Yeah,
it's like,
and the interesting part is, like, just like you, my family had strong hearts.
right.
Well, is there anything else very important that we need to tell people? Anything else? What can we think of? That's just that they better just.
I also wanted to say that not to minimize breast cancer awareness, because that is so important, but I think I think a lot of women think that their risk of getting breast cancer is greater than heart disease, but actually there was a Larry King show on last night about cardiac health, and it was excellent. It was a great show. But they said that for every one woman that dies of breast cancer, 9 women die of heart attacks. So, and it's so important for us to know that cardiac health in women needs to be addressed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so maybe weight and what we eat and
keep your just keep the cholesterol down. It wasn't an issue for me, but keeping your cholesterol down. Take those statins and cholesterol-lowering medications.
Yeah.
Sometimes they give you side effects, but there's always another one you can try. But it's like the drug of choice to keep you from having a stroke or a heart attack.
Mm-hmm. Well, I certainly plan to try to keep it up. But what I really plan to do is I'm going to come to your house and write down your whole menu so that, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever it is, it's perfect.
Well,
It's good.
I'm steel reinforced now, so I don't, I don't have to. Well, everybody has to worry about cholesterol, but the doctor said I will never have plaque or high cholesterol. It's just not in my gene pool, so.
Oh.
I'm lucky that way. So.
Yeah, well, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have to go through menopause and get rid of the other risk factor, those hormones.
Well, Cindy, I'm so glad that you came today.
Thank you for asking me.
I am so happy because I felt after this happened to you that it was so important to talk about it and to, have our friends know about it and what they should do and not laugh about, don't worry about me, I don't need this, I just want them to take care of themselves.
Absolutely.
And so
I'm glad my instance helped you go help.
it did.
Get help
It was
too.
you. I mean it. I'm not even joking. It was you, because all that happened, and I said, no, you know, I don't.
It's so scary when it happens to you.
And look at John Ritter. John Ritter died of this, and I know his wife, Amy Asbeck, has been, you know, trying to get some information out there about it. There were suits and stuff, but that has nothing to do with this. But I felt like, I really felt like, oh my gosh, Cindy is so lucky that she had the doctors she had, and he should have had those doctors.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't matter how rich or how poor, well, you got to have a good doctor.
Right.
And that's the other thing was thinking I wanted to ask you. You recommend, I mean, you went to Lowell. Why? Is it because you worked there or because you knew someone there? Why did you go there?
When we lived in Billerica, we always used Lowell General Hospital with my kids' pediatricians. And I've always had very good
medication and
care from them. When I went, both times when I went in, I did not have to wait for 1 second. I walked through those doors, they greeted me and took me right away for care. And their triage system is working very well. And
yeah. Good.
Yeah.
So there's the reason. Yeah.
And these doctors work at Leahy Clinic and in Lowell, and they're just a very good group. I have complete confidence in them.
Good. We're not knocking any other hospitals.
No, absolutely.
Just so happens.
And they have all the services that I needed.
Yeah, exactly.
That not every hospital has. So.
Yeah. I know, because for my surgery I went to Emerson. I was thoroughly thrilled with them too. But I always wondered why you went in that direction.
I don't believe Emerson does stent placements.
Okay, so that's something we needed to know.
Yeah, but I'm not positive about that, so that's what I heard.
Well, again, I'm glad you're here.
Me
I am
too.
so happy that you're here, and I'm happy that you came on the show.
Thank you very much.
I want to tell you that I hugged my mother for the last time on March 26th, and I want to thank everyone for their support and their hugs. And believe me, I still have a lot of hugs left over. So make sure you hug your parents and your friends and your family, but especially go out there and hug a senior. Till next time, this is Barbara McRae.